Hello, everybody. We're live. Welcome to Popcorn Planet live on Fandom Wire. We're here live on YouTube and Facebook over on Fandom Wire and YouTube's Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor. I'm so happy to be here talking today's news. If you haven't been following on Fandom Wire, a lot of stuff broke last night and this morning that we covered. And the main story I want to talk about is this new publishing event that Star Wars just announced. LucasFilm announced. It is called The High Republic, and let's break into it. So for those of you that didn't already hear about this, they've been teasing this for a while. They've been teasing this concept of called Project Luminous. Now, Project Luminous was this thing that they were sort of teasing at Celebration 2019, and it was now revealed to be this new initiative called the High Republic. This is an interconnected series of stories that'll be told across multiple platforms and publishing outlets as part of a new Star Wars timeline. So it's just a new way to put new characters in a new place so they can start building up new histories and new stories and move forward in a way while still having their foot in a galaxy that we know and love. So it sort of seems to be an attempt to go new, but still rely on sort of the things that we know. This will take place 200 years before Phantom Menace, as well as a Skywalker saga. So 200 years before everything else, a period that was sort of known as the Old Republic. And I see some of your comments out there that are saying, I want to give this due, because to be fair, Old Republic storylines are not being removed. People need to stop perpetrating that BS. Brad, that's fair. Like no one's sure what's happening there. All I know is a lot of EU extended universe books are now gone. They're trying to rewrite and sort of make a new history with this new High Republic concept. And my whole initial aspect was just, well, why? What are we doing? That was my first sort of reaction to this as I heard about it. And we'll break down sort of what they told us. But the more I think about it, you know what? I'm glad they're doing something. And seeing this sort of how this all worked, they put together a huge brain trust of sort of a lot of the Star Wars creators in a room to sort of say, all right, well, where do you guys want to go? What would you want to do if we could start and do something new in a new era and have creative freedom to not be tied to the movie or a show or Luke or Han or all these things? And that to me is exciting. It's exciting to finally see Star Wars and Lucasfilm make a plan to put creative people in a room and say, all right, let's think ahead. Let's think of multiple areas. Let's think of worlds that we're going to build. So that way we, the creative writers, can go have a sandbox to play in and attempt to take some risks. So in that regard, I'm actually excited for this. I've never really followed a lot of the extended universe. I do have to be clear, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but I'm a pretty avid Star Wars fan, especially more of the movies, shows, etc., games. And so this intrigues me. This is an era that I think would be fun for fans to go back to and sort of see how this goes. So let's break down. I want to get some of your comments as I see them filtering in. Thank you guys for watching. Let's go through and sort of see what Star Wars is selling us to see if you guys are excited, especially if you guys are into sort of the books and all this stuff. So going back to sort of this is sort of the main image they keep promoting us. But let's go to StarWars.com, sort of that revealed this major news. So it's a publishing event is what they're calling it. It's been referred to as Project Luminous. It'll be set in an era where the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order are in their zenith, about 200 years before the events of Star Wars. The Phantom Menace, this period on the Star Wars timeline, will not overlap any of the filmed features or series currently planned for production, giving creators and partners a vast amount of room to tell Star Wars stories with new adventures and original characters. They released a trailer and a lot of sort of art, which that's not fan art. It's real art, concept art. But again, it's going to be more novels and comic books. We are so excited to be opening up such a rich, fertile era for our authors to explore, says Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. We'll get to see the Jedi in their prime. Star Wars: The High Republic features the Jedi as we've always wanted to see them, as true guardians of peace and justice. This is a hopeful, optimistic time when the Jedi and Galactic Republic are at their height. But of course, in this glorious new era, something wicked this way comes, says Lucasfilm publishing creative director Michael Sigling. Excuse me. This initiative will give readers young and old a new corner of a galaxy to explore through rich, meaningful stories. Plus, readers will learn what scares the Jedi. Interesting. This is a golden age for the Jedi and a time at the galactic expansion in the Outer Rim, so expect there to be rich tales of exploration, charting out the galaxy, meeting new cultures, and discovering what pioneer life in the Outer Rim was like. This is an incredible sandbox for our storytellers to play in, both within publishing and beyond, and we can't wait to see the great fiction they want to build within it, said Lucasfilm president James Waugh. As previously announced, Star Wars The High Republic has enlisted top-tier fan favorite authors, including Claudia Gray, Justine Ireland, Danielle Jose Older, Covenant Scott, Charles Soule, sorry, I'm butchering some of these names, to craft a new era of Star Wars publishing. The first books and comics are being set to debut at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim in August of 2020. Star Wars The High Republic, Light of the Jedi, a massive interconnected story that's told across various formats by various publishers. The first wave of Star Wars titles include The High Republic, Into the Dark, The High Republic, A Test of Courage, and this is for middle grade novel. So they're doing sort of like aging up some of them, not adventure. Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures. That's Faruza and Lula, two new characters. And Star Wars: The High Republic. Those are two of the villains, I believe, from what we're going to go through some of the images. And then there's The High Republic: Light of the Jedi, which is, I think, the first one that's supposed to come out. You can now buy that on pre-order. Stay tuned to StarWars.com for all other information. Okay, so Project Luminous, this is the new sort of thing. Let's start looking at some of these concepts art and so some of the things that we're seeing to get excited about this process. They talk about what the Jedi are going to be like. These are some of the villains. They're called the Nil, I guess is what we call them. They're basically calling these Jedis like sort of Knights of the Round Table or Wild West is sort of the feel of what this is. And so we got to see they called it specifically, they're more like Texas Rangers. And so the looks and attire of the Republic are going to be very distinct and different than we've seen previously in Star Wars movies. So now this question of what are the Jedi afraid of? This is what I'm most impressed by. When you watch the video, and there's a little bit, I don't want to play too much of it because we'll get dinged. But there you can sort of, it's just really nice to see that they actually all met there at Lucasfilm at the ranch, Skywalker Ranch, to like actually go through and figure out, you know, what do we want to tell? Like that's something that I'm very excited that Star Wars actually has done, because let's be honest, they don't seem to want to, you know, plan too much. And so they even have this whiteboard on there sort of as during the trailer, which you can go watch over on fandomwire.com. We have an article that goes through all this. But they went through and sort of, you know, whiteboarded out like things they want to see. And I found this, you know, pretty interesting. Let's go through some of what they said. Fiction, authenticity, lived in, surprise, diversity, actual ending, feelings, relatable characters, sweeping epic, humor, Star Wars, not pro-war, droids, scope, mythics, lightsaber, space battles, no single main character, the Force, Star Wars wishes, High Republic, relic hunters, university, dinosaurs, representation, diversity, Arthurian legends, rival houses, interesting, like Game of Thrones style, Sith Empire, chaos agents. I love this stuff. This is where I get more interested. And dinosaurs. I like the explanation. Woo, dinosaurs. Star Wars dinosaurs. Okay, I'd watch that. That sounds like some cool figures. But this kind of stuff does get me a little bit excited, because I like that at least they're like thinking. They're actually putting together. I wish they had done this for the final trilogy. Like, actually, all right, we're locking in Trevorrow, we're locking in Abrams, we're locking in Johnson. Let's get you guys in a room for a month and just beat out an outline together, so you guys know where it's going. Come bring ideas, and then we're gonna do it again in a couple months later, as you guys have been writing. But like, why didn't they do that, or find directors who are willing to do it? That's what's so frustrating about this. So to see them planning ahead, I will be honest, it does make me excited. So this was they were gathered around this team. This team was gathered around for 5 days. They said here, sorry, hold on, I have some notes. They were gathered around here for 5 days to take story meetings at Skywalker Ranch in 2018. Joined by the Lucasfilm story group. Pablo Hidalgo was there, and they met and rewatched A New Hope, spent a day just talking about what it makes Star Wars a Star Wars story. And then they began create. That's what that board was showing, and what they sort of want to do. Began creating cornerstones of what would become this new era in the Star Wars timeline. And so first up is this first book. Sorry, trying to get used to these clicks. There we go. Light of the Jedi. And now this is an for novel for adults by Charles Soule, who's no stranger to writing these stories. He's done some really cool work in the comics. And this new novel, which it stores on August 25th, gives a broad readership the taste of a sort of new era of Star Wars timeline. We enter an era of peace and prosperity, a Star Wars time without war. The book's inciting incident for the whole series is an event nicknamed the Great Disaster. We don't really know what that means yet, but it's something tragic and reaches all across the galaxy. And so it causes the Jedi to come together and sort of handle what this can be. The people on this cover, there's a Wookiee named Buryaga Agaberry, who's a very sensitive Jedi. He's sporting a crossblade lightsaber and something different that we saw from Kylo Ren use. The female protagonist is Avar Kriss. She's a Jedi who interprets her connection to the Force musically. Okay, it's starting to lose me a little bit. So I guess it could be like Zelda in the Ocarina of Time. We weren't given many details, but there you go. We have a very sensitive Chewbacca, Wookiee, and a musically, someone who uses the Force musically, kind of like in the Umbrella Academy, if you guys have watched that, which was cool. But here we go. Quick thank you for the support there. Turd Burglar, not pro-war, then down the list space battles, LOL. Then when we get representation and diversity that I'm sure will be forced. Not excited at all. I see a lot of those trends coming in. I appreciate your support there over on YouTube. Look, diversity is important. I'm not going to say it's not. I know some people on my channel think it's not. I know people out there don't. Of course, we need to have representation in these films, but as long as it serves the story, I don't see why we need to complain or point it out. Let's just read the books. Let's watch movies. Let's read the comics and see how it goes, is my sort of opinion. Look, there are all types of people in this world. It's nice to have them all showed in these stories, and so I think that's not a bad thing, as long as it's not being forced in for no other sake other than to have diversity. I see that argument, but so far, I'm not reading anything aside there. The only thing that seems a little silly is musically Force activated through music. Interesting. All right, but thank you for that support. You guys can keep sending them over, and I'll try to get to some of yours at the end, but no guarantees. So there we go. So that's who's on this front page of the Light of the Jedi. They're running out of names of Jedis. How many adjectives can we put in front of Jedis? And then so the next book we have is Into the Dark. This is a young adult novel by Claudia Gray, who has previously written Lost Stars, Bloodline, Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and Master and Apprentice. This story follows a Jedi Padawan inspired by Matthew McConaughey, who doesn't want action and is forced into the frontier and forced to discover who he is. Here's a sort of synopsis. Padawan Reeth Salas is being sent from the cosmopolitan galactic capital of Coruscant to the underdeveloped frontier, and he couldn't be less happy about it. He'd rather stay at the Jedi Temple studying the archives. But when the ship he's traveling on is knocked out of hyperspace in a galactic-wide disaster, Reeth finds himself at the center of the action. The Jedi and their traveling companions find refuge in what appears to be an abandoned space station, but then strange things start happening, leading the Jedi to investigate the truth behind the mysterious station, a truth that could end in tragedy. Sounds like that terrible new Hunger Games prequel. But there you go. There's that one. Next up is A Test of Courage. This is a junior novel being written by Justina Ireland, who also wrote 2008's Lando's Luck and Spark of the Resistance. And this one follows a 16-year-old Jedi, the youngest, she knows of, and who's dealing with growing pains. Look, that's fine. These are kid stuff. When a transparent ship is abruptly kicked out of hyperspace as part of a galaxy-wide disaster, newly minted teen Jedi Vernestra Rao, a young Padawan and an audacious tech kid, and the son of an ambassador, are stranded on a jungle moon where they must work together to survive both the dangerous terrain and a hidden danger lurking in the shadows. Look, that reads like a junior novel. It is what it is. You got to get fans in early. And then this one is being classified as a middle grade book. And it's called Adventures. It's supposed to be a little bit more serious than her other previous junior novels. This one's I read that wrong. High Adventures is an IDW comic book from Daniel Jose Older, who previously wrote Born in the Storm, a short story that appeared in a From a Certain Point of View anthology book, and the solo star tie-in novel Last Shot. The High Republic Adventures. Oh no, wait, sorry. I was right. I was right about the the High Republic. These are all them. Oh, sorry. They're different versions. So there's this one, and then there's this one. There we go with the villains. And so these are from IDW. Sorry, there's a lot of information here. I'm trying to gather it. And thanks to LucasFilm, who I'm borrowing some of this information from. They did a nice place to gather it all. So this was so this is what I was talking about from IDW, comic book series coming. And this High Republic comic series is an ongoing Marvel comic series by Kathleen Scott, who wrote 4 of the novels in the Star Wars Adventures in Wild Space Young Reader series, plus issues of IDW's Star Wars Adventures and the miniseries Star Wars Adventures Tales from Vader's Castle. They have so much stuff. I don't read all this. The comic book will be set in a new space station in the Star Wars universe called Starlight Station. The comic will deal with the ramifications of the Great Disaster. So then there's speculation of, does any of this connect to the parks? And does it connect to Galaxy's Edge? And so this is they had LucasFilm called this out, that one of the Imagineers who was in attendance at the Luminous Project Luminous press event said speculated that there was Galaxy Edge, and Batuu plays in a big role in the High Republic. Remember, the High Republic is set during a time of galactic expansion when new hyperspace lanes have been created. The backstory of Black Spire Outpost, and Batuu also mentions hyperspace routes. Before the invention of hyperspace travel, the outpost was a busy crossroads for those traveling along the old light speed trade routes. However, with the rise of the hyperdrive and new hyperspace routes, the planet was bypassed, and the outpost eventually became home to those who did not want to be found. It evolved into a thriving spaceport for smugglers, rogue traders, and adventurers traveling between the galactic frontier and uncharted space. The port provided easy access to exotic supplies and potential new recruits, further enticing adventurers to stop by. So could these events turn the Black Spire Outpost into the place we know in canon? Who knows? There's sort of more art. All speculation. I mean, look, it's smart. Disney only thinks about synergy, right? That's how you have to. When you have so much going on, you got so many properties, people working for you. You got theme parks, you got toys, you got Disney stores now. You got a lot of stuff you got to represent and make sure is out there and it's connected. So to put all that money on a Star Wars land and not have it tie into something else will be tough. All right, got another quick comment that came in from Jency. Thank you, Jency. Face facts, Andy. Star Wars is trash now. Look, I'm not going there. I see a lot of it in the comments. That's why I'm trying not to pull some of you all. But it's not trash. The Mandalorian is so much fun. I have faith in The Mandalorian. I'm excited for Obi-Wan. There's stuff happening. Look, I think this stuff is for diehard fans who want to really go and dive deeper in the universe. And so far, I at least see organization. I finally see someone with a plan and creating a new pocket of space that doesn't have to be instructed. Well, we can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that because we're doing that. This is a new world that they're just going to let them build. And I think it's smart because you guys got to remember when Kathleen Kennedy talked about the difficulty of ending the trilogy. And she's like, look, we don't have any written things to base this on. It's like, dude, you have thousands of stories that people have written over the years. What are you talking about? And so I think, if anything, these stories might inspire and create new stories in film, TV, etc. that could be really fun if they work. So this is clearly just an incubation, they even called it, incubation place to sort of build out new stories. And I think that's what we're seeing here. So look, I'm not dying on any hill over this by any means, but I do have to give them props for at least organizing. Finally, they went into a room a couple years ago and finally started like, all right, well, what are we doing? That's a good start, guys. Let's at least give them that, right? Can we at least do that? I think, people who want to read these books are going to be excited. And I see some people, excited in these books, but this is what it is. So we got a few more. I can go through a few more of these concept arts just to sort of see, because I think this stuff looks kind of cool. We got some concept art for the citizens and droids of the Republic. This is stuff by Grant Griffin. We got concept arts of the Jedi attire. This comes from Eliza Serio. These are all sort of screenshots from the trailer. And then we have more Jedi mission attire concept art. There we go. And some really cool stuff there. Droids and things that we can see. Some creepy crawlies. Things that might scare the Jedi. Are they zombies? They look like ghosts. They look pretty terrifying, actually. That's pretty fun. What's nice in publishing, you can really design anything. You don't even have to worry about, can CGI pull it off? And then we have, just a lot more looks of sort of Jedis and people. These are sort of a lot of the stuff that we saw in the main articles. Like I said up here in that main piece, there's just a lot of art that they've created for this new world and sort of characters that we come to know. But this is all just very early stages of where we are. That's pretty much what we got. That's all the insight sort of that's out there. It's a lot. It's some insight. But now that is where we stand with the High Republic. Now, going through a lot of your comments, I see a lot of them. I can't get to all of them, but I'm going to try and get to a couple of them quickly. Some of these are, I can't. I'm not. Yeah, if it's not clean, I can't put it on here. But Derek, that did make me laugh a little bit, even though I don't agree with you. Here we go. So let's go here. I don't like these costumes. I wish their clothes were designed cooler than New Hope era instead of space Lord of the Rings. Just my taste. You know what? I agree with you there. It does look very. Why we're 200 years earlier? We have to sort of match the same look. I don't disagree with that. Man, there's a lot of negativity in these comment section. Again, if you want to speed track and jump into it, you could go do it over on YouTube with super chats. Those get precedent here to support the stream. It's hilarious that this is the best they could come up with. I mean, this is the nicest one I've seen. You guys are not, you guys here watching are not fans. So if you are a fan, leave a nice comment. I'm curious because I'm reading a lot of that. You guys are not interested in this. You do not think this works. Give me an Ewok Jedi. Okay, I like that. I would watch that, I guess. Why not? What's wrong with an Ewok Jedi? Let's see it. But yeah, this is interesting stuff. Your comments are not not that happy. Look, again, as I wrap this up, I think this can work. I think it's again the positive. I'm going to spin it again. I'm not trying to spin it, but only place I can go with it. Because we don't know what it is. So you got to make up some sort of spin on well, should we be excited or not? And look, I'm probably not going to read any of these. I'll be honest. I'm not going to do it, but at least I'm excited that they're trying. I'm excited that it's not disorganized again. Now, is it sound that exciting? No, it's an interesting period that I think you could tell good stories for, but I'll be honest, I'm more interested in where they're going theatrically through TV and film, because I think that's where all the eyes are on. Obviously, what's going to happen. And if this can become a little breeding ground for sort of smart creators to go tell some stories without Lucasfilm breathing down their neck and letting them take some risks. And then if one of those works, it inspires a story to be told later, then great. I think what's the harm in that? How's this harming anybody? It's not. There's so many places you could go with Star Wars, and I hope the films do go forward. So to go back and leave the publishing world to have sort of free reign to sort of the history of it all and go even further back, it's interesting. But at the same time, it's like we're straying further and further from sort of Lucas's vision. It's definitely becoming Disney's vision now, and I see why that's polarizing for a lot of you. That's what we got. So you're stuck with Disney Star Wars now, and I think a lot of you aren't going to watch it. A Watto Jedi, I would pay to see that. A whole feature. Watto Jedi and Baby Yoda together walking around. Hey, money. Hey, pay to hold the Baby Yoda. Hey, merchandising Baby Yoda toys across the space. That could be a fun show. What kind of shows do you guys want to see? Tell me down in the comments below. Hit me up on social media at Andy Signor. And make sure to follow Fandom Wire Live over on Facebook, Fandom Wire News. We do this every day at 2 o'clock on weekdays. I'm going to be doing this, and I want to get some of you guys involved in this stream. So if you're watching and you're like, you know what, man, I want to talk about this, and you can do it respectfully, because I can't kick you out. But I can invite people to join the stream via webcam. So I'm looking for fans. This is Fandom Wire Live. Let's do it. Open up the floodgates to let some of you guys say your piece as news breaks every day. So be sure to hit us up on Fandom Wire or Popcorn Planet or me at Andy Signor, and I'll keep tabs and try and get some of you to have the invite to join the stream next time. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. or I'll see you tonight over on Popcorn Planet. And obviously, keep track of your news and all your updates over on fandomwire.com or Fandom Wire News over on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for watching. The other big news today was sorry, I just was about to say it and then I spaced on Fandom Wire. We just Candyman 2. That trailer, or Candyman is the sequel to Candyman with Jordan Peele. Interesting, but we got a cool article and all the stuff you need to know over on Fandom Wire if you want to learn more about Jordan Peele's Candyman when the trailer is dropping, and a description of the trailer, which we have exclusively. Go to fandomwire.com to read that today. That's all I got for you. We'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back tonight over on Popcorn Planet. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you later. Bye.